Hi, I'm Eric Poulin.
And I'm Robin Poulin.
We're the co-founders of Calendar Budget, and welcome to the Calendar Budget Podcast.
I can pay cash, I can pay check, I can pay wire transfer, I can pay gift card, I can pay credit, I can pay anything you like. I can pay cash, I can pay check, I can pay wire transfer, I can pay gift card, I can pay credit, I can pay anything you like.
All right, we are back. It is almost Christmas. In fact, I think this is coming out on the 23rd of December, just before Christmas or holiday season for whatever you're celebrating. Gift giving time. So let's talk about gift giving.
It could be for many things that you decide to give a gift for.
Well, yes, it could be.
Yeah.
But
Christmas,
Christmas
other celebrations.
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be birthdays or whatever.
Baptisms, confirmations, anything.
Really what we want to do
anniversaries.
is talk about like gift giving on a budget. So if you got tons of money, awesome. You're probably not listening to this particular podcast. But if you're trying to manage your budget and just kind of balance your books and make the most of your money, there's lots of ways to give gifts in an economical way without breaking your budget, without breaking the bank, and still be very meaningful and not feel cheap. Because the last thing you want to do is glue together some construction paper and hand it to somebody and be like, I made this for you. Which is great for kids to do. But unless you're like a crafty person and you're making it awesome, you probably want a gift to feel like it's meaningful. You don't want it to feel cheap. You don't want to be cheap. Of course, you don't want to be cheap. You want to have a meaningful gift. So
People can tell the time and effort that you've put into it, even if it is construction paper. One of the kids took this giant piece of Bristol board, took construction paper and cut it out and made it so that when you open the card, it made flowers pop out. So it was adorable.
yeah, those are pretty cool.
Yeah, that's effort put in. That's the difference.
Yeah, and the same thing goes for us. Like, I know that traditional, like, I'm not a fool. I know traditional gifts are like you buy something from the store, you wrap it up and you give it. Obviously, that's a traditional gift, and a lot of people have that expectation. But like, we can buck the system. Like, you don't have to rely on that tradition. You can make your own traditions.
Yes.
And there's lots of ways that we can give gifts. So, like homemade gifts. What are some ideas of some homemade gifts that an adult can give that are cool, that they're not going to feel like a child went to the construction paper?
First, I would say it starts with how it's presented, the packaging. So something you can do is you make a bunch of homemade treats. Or I've done a thing where you get a glass jar and you layer it with all this things you would put in a soup mix. And you can find these recipes online. But then you make sure it's a nice jar and it looks pretty. And put fancy decorations on it or whatever. A little
bow on it. So
Yeah.
really, what is this? You're giving soup. If you went to the store and bought a can of soup and gave that to somebody, it would be a lame gift and people would be like,
Unless
What
you know
is
it's their favorite.
but taking the time to like decorate it, present it in a special way, suddenly that's a pretty cool gift. Now, that kind of a gift, probably not what you're going to give to like your spouse or your kids, but what kind of, who do you give that kind of gift to?
Depends on the child as well. One of our kids was like,
Maybe.
That's so cool. I thought looks pretty. I can put it on my counter as a gift. And they love cooking and baking. So it fits for that child.
Yeah.
So usually you might give it to, say, a person you regularly just visit to check in on, make sure they're okay. Or your neighbor or something like that. Where it's just somebody you want to show that you put in some effort, that you care about them, and you want them to have something healthy and delicious that you know is delicious to eat.
Yeah, I think like when we're considering our own budget for gift giving, specifically for Christmas, we set a budget for our own family, right? So our children, we set a specific budget at X amount, and we're gonna probably with that money be going to a store and getting a gift for those
Yes.
for our kids. It's not always a gift. Sometimes it's an event. Sometimes it's like she's in the next room, but we're getting one of our kids flying lessons because she's always wanted to do that, like in an airplane. That'll be awesome for her. So that's not a gift that you like, physical gift you get. It's an event that you go to and experience, but that's going to be awesome for her. And then for the other kids, you know, it'll be a physical gift.
And when do you start looking for these things?
Well, that's the thing. I know some people who start looking like in September for Christmas gifts. They'll find a deal and then stash it away somewhere.
I know people
forget
that
about
look
it.
even earlier.
Earlier than September? Like
Yeah.
all year long?
Yep. You're always paying attention. You know
Yeah.
what people typically like, or you know that things are going to be coming up for like a baby shower or something like that you will eventually attend. You see a few people around you that are expecting or getting married and things like that. And so you watch for deals along the way. You want to get something really nice. You know certain stores are better to shop at, like a liquidation center.
Yeah.
Or for us, you have a store that's called Winners, where it's stuff that are high-end value and normally sold at like probably $100 or more. But at this store, you can get it for $30. So you know where to get value for an amazing price.
Yeah, the challenge that we face many times is not only are there different kind of levels of gift giving, like obviously we're going to give more to our own direct kids than we are to our neighbors. So for the neighbors, some of these homemade gifts are actually more meaningful than if we bought a box of chocolates or something. But if we did something homemade for our own kids, it might be the reverse effect. So you kind of have to play it by ear, by what your kids want and enjoy and what your relationship is with them.
It's things they've done for us, though. They've like painted a picture for us.
Yeah.
I don't know, what else have they done? Things that are homemade, and you know over time that they don't have a lot of money. Or you see them invest more in like their siblings. You're like, oh, that is so sweet. We're just happy to see them show that love to their siblings, to connect with them. And they look for things that are meaningful.
Yeah, hopefully at some point you'll arrive at a time in your life where the act of giving is more meaningful than receiving gifts.
Yes.
I mean, when you're a child, you know, you're not there usually, unless you're an exceptionally mature child. But, you know, as an adult, hopefully you arrive at that point in your life. Like we give only a little bit to each other because we just focus most of our budget on giving to other people. Besides, it's difficult to give to each other. We were just talking about this earlier today. Like, we just get what we need and part of what we want
Along the way.
as a matter of the course of our lives. Like, we budget for it, we get it,
Yeah.
and then come Christmas time, there's not this one thing that I'm like, that I've been wanting.
Desperately holding on to for months to be able to give it.
Not like circling in a toy catalog. This is the one I want so bad. That's a kid thing.
Yeah. That's
So.
what means most. I remember something early on in our marriage, a discussion came up, is that what means more is what comes along in the just because. Not because it's your birthday, not because it's anniversary, but, you know, I was thinking of you today. I was out and I saw this and I knew you just had to have it.
I 100% agree. Those gifts are way more meaningful to me rather than a holiday where it's like expected that you're going to get a gift. When you don't expect it, way more meaningful.
Yeah.
For me anyway. With regards to gift giving and some of these homemade gifts, it doesn't have to be a physical thing that you've made.
No.
You can give gifts of your time as well.
Yes.
Right? So you can give coupons. Again,
Kids did that. They made coupon booklets.
Yeah.
Free dinner made or free house cleaning of this whatever.
and they're just like little pieces of paper with handwritten, I will do the dishes. It stapled together, you know, in a little coupon booklet.
Yep. And then maybe they put a
fantastic.
treat with it or something, but yeah, they're willing to give them themselves and to do things that you know would love to be done.
Yeah, I mean, those things are fantastic.
Yeah, we've done that for each other too.
Yeah, a little more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Should I go get it?
That box.
I have it right here.
Do you? Where is it? Is it on the other shelf?
It's
Over
gone.
here.
Anyway,
It's here.
we're disrupting the presentation, but Here's a gift. Is it okay that I show
Yeah.
this? It's kind of personal, but so Robin made this for me ages ago, several years ago. It's just a box, and inside this box
I'll
is
admit that I got the box from Dollarama, but I
Doesn't
painted
matter.
it myself.
doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
you painted it and wrote on it, and inside the box, there's a whole bunch of these little
Sticks
sticks. I guess they're.
with date or hangout ideas.
They were whole sticks and you cut them in half.
Yeah.
But they have like text on them that say, oh, this one is slingshot paintball. This one is old tech demolition. Which we do for fun every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
We'll collect our old technology and then just go smash it with a hammer.
Clean it up again afterwards, of course.
And there's just a whole bunch of things in here, like rock climbing, horse carriage ride, go to the Toronto Public Library, which is a bit of a distance from us, but that would be a bit of an outing. Fruit picnic, picking.
Yeah.
And then she just like literally there's more than 100 in here. So
Yeah.
this is like she spent time on this and put a card with it. This is very, very meaningful. And I spent a lot of time reviewing these and just like, wow, she really poured her heart and soul into this gift. So sometimes, well, I think in most cases, a gift like that, what would the cost of this have been? Less than $10 for the entire gift. It's just craft material. But way more meaningful. I mean, obviously the cost of doing these things would cost money as well. But the fact that she poured her heart and soul into this thing was super meaningful. And it did not feel cheap to me in any way. This was more precious than anything she could have bought me. So I think we all have those kind of things in us to do. And you can do that for a spouse or for your own kids. And certainly even for neighbors. You can give the gift of your time through coupons, through, like yard work,
Yep.
housework.
Or just going and spending time with them, play a game with them, read a story with them, or just sit there and listen to them.
Exactly.
Sometimes that's all they need.
Some of the other things that you can have just in the terms of ideas is like help with a home project. You can use some of your talent, like if you have a talent for sewing or arts and crafts, or for me, computers. I just say, hey, if you have any computer problems, give me a call. I'm your guy. And a lot of people take me up on that. And I spend not a ton of time on helping people, but a good portion of time every month is doing a little bit of tech support for people. There's so many things that you can do, and it doesn't need to be something expensive. But I do like the idea of keeping an eye out during the year.
Yes.
And then just storing it away. But maybe make a note of it somewhere, because I've had my mom did this, and then she, after Christmas,
Forgot the hiding place?
in the new year, she couldn't remember where she put it because she hid it, and then or just entirely forgot about it, and discovered it like
Cleaning out.
in February. She'll pull it out and be like, "Oh, I was supposed to give this to you at Christmas time,"
Yeah.
which is still sweet, but you probably want to make it have the impact you intended it to. Now, you have a friend who brings over something regularly, but especially around Christmas time.
Yeah, she makes treats. She is a baker. The kids absolutely love anything they make. They'll say, "Who's this from?" And I'll tell them it's from this friend. And and they dive in. They know it's top notch, high quality. She finds copycat recipes online and makes these homemade treats and fantastic food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing about your mom, though, is she loves sewing. So she'll make these homemade quilts for the kids at special occasions, or even just a fantastic, beautiful piece of material that had this awesome picture on, and then she embroiders something on it with her machine that can do something nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, she also participates in this Christmas box that goes over to people that are less fortunate, and she makes all these little dresses.
This is like throughout the year. She's building up to
Continually
this.
throughout the year,
Yeah.
yes. And it's fantastic. Each dress is unique. None of them look the same. And she uses scrap material that she has, or other people have had scrap material that they'll pass on to her. And then she just does a little embroidery and makes everything look unique for the age that is going to be going to.
Yeah. So tons of ideas around gift giving. Again, it doesn't need to be super expensive. You can save money by getting things on sale and buying it ahead of time, of course. But some of these personal things, even if it's just writing a letter to somebody, like a Christmas card, a handwritten Christmas card is going to be completely unexpected. This is not something you're going to do for your own kid. Although writing a personal letter, in addition to whatever you do, would be very meaningful, obviously.
Mm-hmm. As you get grown kids too, they would appreciate that even more than younger kids.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Now we exchanging amongst adults is a conversation you might want to have. If you have a large family and buying for all the adults in your family is become burdensome.
Yes.
Like I have 3 brothers, you have a sister, we all have parents and
then they all have their own
grandparents
children.
and their children, and it just gets out of hand. So we decided as a family that we were not going to exchange gifts anymore with the adults.
Just time together.
Yeah, time together at Christmas. We still buy for the kids because, kids. But I think that was a good call.
Yeah.
And how do you feel that that's worked out?
Well, in particular, I think you spoke about this one other time where it was your birthday, and instead of everybody bringing something, we just had an event together and we went and played whirlyball.
Yeah.
It's a nice memory. The memories means far more than something in your hand.
Exactly. Box of chocolates.
That'll end up in
You'll eat in 10
on the
minutes.
hips or in the corner.
Exactly. So it's worked out well for us to just have that conversation with the adults in our family, and everybody saves the budget, the stress, because we never know what to get. Even my own brothers, I don't know what to get them. Like I talk to them pretty regularly, but still, I mean,
As you get older, you tend to have what you need.
you get the things that you want and you need as a matter of the course of your life. And trying to figure out what this something special would be is like, it's just difficult. And it's stressful.
Although this time when prices continue to rise, or people are in a little bit more financial difficulty, you might say they could really use a gift card at the grocery store. They could use a gift card for gas. That's what
But again, I'd rather
one of the grandmas had thought about, but then they spoke with another one of her kids and said, you know what? I like your ideas better. Let's go with these creative ideas instead.
Yeah. I'd rather get, again, if it's a gift for an adult, I'd rather give that gift not at Christmas time, but when the need is there.
Yeah.
Right? Don't wait for like a specified date. Give it when the need is there, which may be all the time.
Somebody like your mom, though, loves shopping. So giving her a gift card for shopping is actually a fantastic gift.
That's true.
So, it's knowing the person, knowing who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Well, you have things like weddings and stuff where you tend to get duplicates of things. Mm-hmm. What do you do with those?
Yeah, so
unless you don't need to do.
Before we get there, the last thing you want to do if you're giving a gift to an adult is give them something that they don't want or that is not really well desired. But that falls into the same line as a duplicate gift. If I receive a gift that's like, thanks, I really appreciate the thought behind this. I'm not going to say this to a person, but you all know what I'm saying, right? You've received gifts from time to time and you're like, I'm so grateful that they were thinking of me, but this thing is completely useless. And what am I going to do with this? For me, yeah. And it's the same thing if you get a duplicate gift at a wedding where you're getting many dozens of gifts. There could be duplicates and you don't need the 2 of them. So then we enter the topic of re-gifting. Yeah. So re-gifting, some people are not very comfortable with it.
Some feel it's uncouth.
Some feel that way. And there definitely are ways to do it in an uncouth or shameful way, I suppose. But there's ways to around that. So I think what we would do is just lay down a few kind of basic re-gifting rules or suggestions that have worked well for us. So what's a rule that you would start with for re-gifting?
You want to know that what it is and where it came from so that you don't end up giving it back to the same person.
Yes.
So tend to put a label on it so you can keep track of these ideas. And I remember somebody saying regifted in a different circle of people so you know it doesn't end up back in the same hands again.
Not only that, not only will it not get into the same hands, but people who may be sensitive about regifting will have no idea because you're giving it in a different circle. So maybe it goes to a neighbor instead of your family.
Yeah.
Or, something along those, somebody from church or somebody from your social group.
Mind you, we haven't had that for a long time for regifting. So,
we haven't.
Like years. The only thing I find is we do have an area of things we have collected together for gifts, but it's things that we've gotten from other stores along the way that I'm like, okay, this is on sale and could be useful for a baby shower.
So we have what we call the regifting pile. It's not a pile. I don't even know why we call it that.
It's a drawer now.
It's just an area where we
Small
put
drawer.
things that are kind of designated as this would be good because it's not going to serve us well.
Yeah.
This would be something that could serve somebody else.
Yeah.
And so we just put it there, and then when we need to get a gift that's within a kind of that budget, we'll go there first. And if there's something that would serve the person we're supposed to get it to, then we don't have to buy anything.
Yep.
And there you go.
I think most of the regifting stuff we have in there are things that we got as a freebie from doing something else. So it's not even somebody who gave them to us. Yeah.
Another rule I would suggest is make sure the thing is in like new,
pristine
new
condition.
or pristine condition. Yeah. You don't want to be like having used something for a long time and it's showing signs of wear and then give it to somebody. Unless you can restore it to its original nature and make it look like it's new. Don't give something that is worn out. That would be probably in the category of not cool.
There are some people that are very thrifty.
Yeah.
And if they had known that you got this fantastic book or something like that from a secondhand store, an antique shop or something like that, they would be thrilled because doubly you've saved a lot of money and that would have made them totally thrilled to know that had happened.
Yeah. Another thing to make sure is to just remove any evidence that it was a gift purchased for you, such as tags, cards. We had an experience once where we regifted something, and the gift was fine, but we put it in a gift bag because we reuse gift bags, and the tag on the gift bag had somebody else's name on it, right? And when we gave it to somebody, they're like, "What?
Just kidding.
Who's Emmanuel?" Oops. The gift was actually, in that case, wasn't even a regift. We just reused the gift bags, but you just want to be careful about that kind of thing.
Kept in pristine condition, so.
You want a gift, obviously, to be received in the spirit that it's intended, which is you're trying to do something nice and try to avoid any kind of uncomfortable
situations.
Yes. Any other regifting rules that you think would be applicable that we should consider?
For anything that's really particularly lame, that just really doesn't suit going around, retire it. Get rid of it, give it to a secondhand shop to sell, or if it really needs to be, dispose of it. Or you could use it as a lame white elephant gift that just keeps coming back every year. I was just going to say that.
We just went to one this past week. It's called White Elephant. Is that the name of it?
I think that's the typical game is called White Elephant Exchange.
So if you're not familiar with that name, it's a game where everybody brings a gift that's like under $10, wraps it, and anonymously puts it on the table. And then everybody in the group, so we did it with a group of 30?
Yeah, about that. 30
adults. This was all adults.
Yep.
And just somebody would draw a number, and if it matched the number you were given, then you would go pick a gift. You just randomly pick a gift out of the table. You don't know what they are, but you open it, show it to everybody, and be like, "Oh, it's a thing." And so I received a lantern. It was like one of these little camping lanterns. It turns into a flashlight. You pop it up, and it turns into a bright. It was so bright it almost singed my eyes.
I think at your first thought, you're like, "What do I need a lantern for?" Because I really don't go camping anymore.
I thought it was going to be lame, but when I opened it, it was so bright. I thought, "Dang, this is going to be actually useful." Anyway, everybody sees the thing, and then you go sit down, and then the next person has their number called, and they can either pick a new present or they can steal somebody else's gift. And so gifts can be stolen, and it just kind of goes until the end. And then, lots of people are stealing. There's usually one gift that gets passed around 10 times because it's like the best gift. Somebody always goes over the $10 budget and buys a cool gift.
I'd say be careful about how you respond when gifts are open. You can say, oh, that sucks, or it's like not appropriate or whatever, but...
Or just, you can have a look of disappointment in your face that totally can crush somebody who maybe did not have very much budget to spend on you, but really cares genuinely and wanted to do something for you. So...
just widow's mite kind of idea.
Yeah, tell the story.
Widow's mite, it's in the Bible, where a lady came... all these rich people standing around gave their little 10 cents or whatever it was that they put in at that time. And it wasn't very much for them. But this lady came and gave all that she had, it says. And it was a very small amount, like 2 pence kind of thing. But it was worth far more than what the other people gave, because she gave of her all, where they gave of their much, but gave very little of it.
Yeah. So we, as receiving gifts... just remember to be gracious, and the spirit of this season of Christmas time, and any time when gifts are being exchanged, just remember what this is all about. You're not doing this resentfully, hopefully. You're doing this out of a sense of love and compassion, and just friendship and sharing, and that's how gifts should be given. That's how gifts should be received. And when we do it that way, the love will flow and everybody's going to be happy. And even if the gift is lame and they don't need it, they'll know that it came from the heart.
Yep.
Which at the end of the day is really what matters.
Gratitude will change your life and change their life as well.
Exactly. Like I said, hopefully you grow into this feeling of giving is more valuable than receiving. And like we said, there's lots of ways to give. You can re-gift, you can give of your time, you can do homemade things. If you budget for it, you can budget and get things from the store. Look for good deals. But at the end of the day, make it meaningful. And, our relationships with people are more important than the silly things that we exchange. At the end of the day, all that matters is our relationships with the people around us. Mm-hmm. From Calendar Budget, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And if you're watching this during the holiday season or after Christmas, we hope that you enjoy time with family and are able to enjoy a good gift-giving session.
Whatever your celebrations are, we wish you well.
Exactly. Happy budgeting.
I can pay gift card, I can pay credit, I can pay anything you like. I can pay cash, I can pay check, I can pay wire transfer, I can pay gift card, I can pay credit, I